We're not a clinic, madam. It's not our job. We do the best with what we've got. The discharge dockets.
Thank you, Mrs. Armitage. Do you know where Dr. Mays is at the moment?
We'll be holding a surgery in the hospital, madam.
I wonder if I'll ever acquire your mastery of the timetable, Mrs. Armitage.
Come through the years, madam.
Governor here. Dr. Mays there. Peter, do you feel like a pub lunch?
Right.
Thank you, Peter. I don't know what it is, but my mind works better outside.
No, it's a well-known phenomenon. It's known as institutionalized thinking. Yes. As a matter of fact, I suffer from it myself. Indeed, you've just shown me that.
Oh.
By asking me a simple question, isn't there a better way? You see, because what we're doing now is better than what we used to do, my mind had stopped working at home. As a matter of fact, I feel rather ashamed of myself. I'm beginning to fossilize.
Oh, rubbish, Peter. A senior medical officer has enough to do without having to sit down and rethink the system.
All the same, you see, there might be a better way.
Why, have there been new developments?
Well, it might be totally wrong for a prison situation, but... There's a young friend of mine called Ormond. He's at St. Michael's. Now, he's good. He's very good. He runs a small addiction clinic, and he's been having a lot of success with group therapy. Do you know what that is?
Yes, that's where a group of people get together and discuss their illness. Sort of psychological approach.
Right, because according to Ormond, the whole problem is psychological. And that's why it mightn't be suitable for us.
I'd like to meet him.
Well, I'll fix it. What have we got to lose?
You see, what people overlook about addicts, and what we've learned at St. Michael's. By the way, Mrs. Boswell, I must thank you for a fabulous dinner. I'm afraid I've been so busy talking.
I'd rather hear you talk about your work.
Yes, come on, John. You've done the social bit. Now get on with it.
You see, primarily, the addict's dependence isn't physiological. By replacing the heroin with Ficeptone, gradually tapering them down to 5 mils a day, we can stabilise them physically. Any attendant anxiety we can treat with Librium or Largactil.
But that's simply substituting one drug for another.
Exactly. Their problem is psychological dependence. You see, broadly speaking, addicts are people who feel inadequate and isolated for one reason or another. Heroin, for a while, removes those feelings of inadequacy.
And what we're doing at Stone Park is to take them off the heroin, but to send them out with the same problems they came in with, so they go back to it.
That's what we all used to do, and that's where group therapy comes in. Forces them to admit their inadequacy, face it out in the open, and it breaks down their isolation.
You mean like Alcoholics Anonymous?
By making them talk about it, discuss each other, even attack each other. An addict can fool us. It can't fool another addict. They know all the lies and the dodges and the evasions that they use to blind themselves and us. In a group session, they can't get away with it. They have to face reality. And once they do that, they're starting to win.
But this would mean regular meetings.
Every day for 90 minutes, supervised by Peter or other staff.
Peter, have you got the time?
I'll make the time.
It also means taking them off all drugs. No Ficeptone, no sleeping draughts, no tranquilizers. Absolutely vital. They must know they're standing on their own 2 feet, no crutches.
Does this really work?
Well, you must know what you're getting into. It's hard, bruising graft. I'm not claiming miracles, but yes, it does work.
I would have thought that if I could have relied on anyone's support, it would have been yours.
I'm sorry, Governor. If I thought it had a ghost of a chance, but it just won't work, not in prison.
Give me one good reason why.
That kind of therapy depends on free will. You can do anything you want to do, and that includes kicking heroin. But what happens to free will in prison?
But these women are already imprisoned by their addiction. Stone walls are meaningless compared to that.
I've worked with male addicts at Windhill, and I know the type. They just wouldn't cooperate. And if they did, it would only be for the chance it would give them to disrupt prison discipline. A 90-minute yelling session every day. That's all you'd need to bring this place down around your ears.
I think I could rely on my officers to see that that didn't happen.
Could you? Have you considered how they might feel about it? How much extra work there'd be supervising the thing?
I haven't got that far. I'm sure given the goodwill of the staff, things could be worked out.
But would you have the goodwill of the staff? Don't you think you ought to find out?
It's Sister Baxter. Have you had your fire today? It's no good to me.
here, it's inside of here.
You need some tranks. They're what you need to put you right. She needs a tranquilizer.
Now then, Poppy Face, what's all this? I thought we were getting along famous. Here, now what are we trying to be, a pavement artist? Here, drink this.
What is it?
It's a tranquilizer as prescribed by Dr. Madden.
It's no good to me. None of that's no good to
just
me.
let me be the best judge of that. Drink it up now. I'll get Dr. Mace to come and see you. There we are. Come on now, into bed.
Gus. I don't want my bed. My head goes round and round. I want to sleep. Can't you give me none of that stuff that makes me go to sleep?
No, during the day, dear. You know that.
Oh, please, make me sleep. Let me go to sleep.
We're all in good time, my dear. All in good time. You be a good girl. Lie still, and the doctor will come and look at you.
All right if I stay with her? You're trying to fight it, aren't you?
It's like the devil's in the Bible. The more you try to cast them out, the more they torment you.
That's what the stuff's for, to damp them down, but it can't do it if you won't let it.
I don't want to be like this. Stuff full of muck, like a thing you got to keep quiet. I want to be well, like normal folk. I know I'm going to come straight out of here and go straight back onto that poison. I don't want to. I don't want to.
You can't beat it, Emma. I used to try. We're hooked. Once you admit that, it gets better. You take your fine, you take your tranks, and you keep your head down and look forward to that first big flash when you get out.
No, I won't do that. I won't. I want to be decent.
You'll never be decent again, dearie. None of us. Straight people are scared of us. Can't you see that? We're something that might happen to them and they don't like it.
There must be someone who can help me.
There's no one. We're outside the rules. We live from fix to fix, knowing that each one could be the last. And then out for good.